Bro.
Why, like, bro?
I thought we equally had carriers that were like kind of African in a sense, but the fact that you guys are doing modern courses, it makes you put you on the other side of colonialism.
Modern.
Yeah.
I want
But,
that on the recording.
In the sense that,
Did you?
in the sense
did
that
that.
now, for example,
Though, okay.
like for example, he's doing medicine, right?
Yes.
Normally, in an African setting, would want to do herbs, not surgery. You get?
But if you can't cure cancer with herbs and you need surgery, you take every tool you can get. And surgery is not necessarily a colonial profession because you've had we used to do surgery here, cesarean section,
The first cesarean section in the world
amputations.
was here.
Hmm?
And
So
it is interesting. These guys were even aware of. They were aware of sterile environment, like no microorganisms. So they would cut the pregnant lady while they were naked. So if there's even a certain funny picture, I think I'll drop it. The video, they are naked.
because they don't want to contaminate it with
Medicine
the
is tradition, no? Which was
sense.
just preached. Let's
And
call it like
engineering
religion. And engineering
is also traditional, though we were not as advanced. But you know that here in the Uganda kingdom, they constructed the tallest freestanding hut.
no, can we clap
Have you?
at least so that it's easier for me to record?
Oh, okay, yeah.
I'll remove that.
Yeah.
Okay, tell us the audio to make some mark where I'll start.
Yeah. So the tallest freestanding hut. You've seen those Kasubi tombs, though they got burnt by a fire. Of course, Kasubi tombs used to be a palace because by your tradition, I'm not a Muganda though.
Is I'm gonna.
Yeah, I'm gonna. Are you?
I know.
Mnyamko? I'm told.
Yes.
Yeah.
So by Uganda tradition, a king would have his palace. Then when he dies, he would be buried in that palace, and then they would leave that palace alone. Then the next king builds a new palace.
So they were like Shaka.
Yes. So essentially,
have you watched the Zulu TV show?
Not really.
Shaka Ilembe. It's
a very nice show.
So nice. How many episodes have you watched? No,
I've watched 4.
I have a question. I have a question in relation to this. So, do you think us affiliating to modernity is submission to colonization or not?
That's a very good question.
It isn't submission, yeah?
Is it?
Isn't because, you know, when we say colonization, we usually assume everything associated with the European powers that took over our continent is colonial. Yeah? But when you really examine the colonial culture they say they brought, it's not really their culture necessarily. Yeah?
No, we
For example,
introduced ourselves.
We will introduce ourselves. For example, you might think of what's the national symbol of the national drink of the American people. It's probably coffee. You know, they overwork. Everyone takes coffee when you watch movies.
I didn't know.
They're always having.
I didn't know it is the national
everyone
symbol.
poses
National
for,
symbol?
No, national drink.
Is it a national drink?
It's not. Is it not?
Guinness, man.
I feel like theirs is actually soda.
Soda.
Because they do a lot of street food.
Street food.
Yeah.
But so coffee, you know, they are workaholics. So everyone drinks copious amounts of coffee. I believe they are the greatest coffee drinkers.
And the other white powder.
Because coffee, coffee in a sense is kind of corporate. And
yeah,
I don't think I would, if I was to mention,
to generalize everything. Okay, let's say we are ranking, we're making a hierarchy of their national drinks. Coffee is say top 5 there. They're an imperial power.
Yeah, so
but where did people first think of coffee as a beverage? Can you guess?
Coffee as a beverage. I only know tea, China. But
coffee Ethiopia. People Ethiopia? Think yes, really? Yes. People think of tea as the British national drink. At least that's
actually when you talk about coffee, I think
actually breakfast in a sense.
Yes,
it just feels for it.
Where does tea come from? So these cultures are not like monolithic and unchanging. They borrowed a lot from a lot of different places, merged it together. So some of their so-called culture is not necessarily their culture.
So you're saying in Pashit,
So,
So they
us
stole our culture.
accepting
That's what I was going
a
to say.
colonial profession, like for example, you saw how the cesarean section was invented here. Us embracing surgery is not a sign of colonization. So that's like my answer to the question he posed.
Yo, we are still answering the question. The question.
You-
If
We are even talking about the
Supplying to
courses. We are still talking about the
Oh,
courses.
anyway. We were introducing ourselves. And
I
we
also
went
want
off
to
a
defend
very long tangent.
Okay, let's introduce ourselves. Then I also start with the herbal medicine stuff. Guys, welcome back to In R5 in Room 5. My name is Ian Kakoza, your host, my co-host,
Noah Jira,
and
as usual.
we have a very special guest. We are happy to see him here, and we can't wait.
He's very articulate.
Yeah.
He poses tough questions. We are supposed to be questioning him. I don't know why
But
he's
it's
questioning us.
us. We are in a hot seat. I feel it
Yeah.
burning.
Can you introduce yourself?
So my name is Katsabe Lawrence Adonis. I'm a creative director doing bachelors of visual communication design and multimedia. Yeah.
Wow.
With the intro, bro.
You ever heard of
It was like dropping bars. I was about to.
have you ever had Idi Amin's titles or Khaleesi's titles?
Oh,
Like
Daenerys
Daenerys,
Targaryen, Semanya, Queen of the
Stormborn,
Outdoors, Stormborn,
the first man,
First Witchy,
Conqueror of the Whites.
Dragon what, Queen.
blah 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 blah. Conqueror of Marine, Idi Amin, king of all the
man has
beasts of the
introduced
land
himself,
and
Yeah,
fishes in the
Katshabi.
sea.
Yeah. Katsabe.
Katsabi.
Yeah.
Katshabi is Banyankole.
Yeah. I'm very rigid when it comes to identity.
Yeah.
That's why I really like to make that distinction.
So you don't want to pronounce it in.
I don't want to be
long-
identified as something I'm not.
Oh, all right.
Yeah.
And by the way, in our
Oh.
current colonial
That's
project which we
yeah.
live in, people have a habit of lamping. They can't imagine. I've had this whole idea of people saying, these are the Ugandans from the West.
Oh yeah, true.
It is here, but people don't
That's
realize
really
that
irritating.
it's
No,
very,
is irritated about.
it's very granular. You
Mm.
like the distance from say Toro to Ankole's center is so great.
It's so
It's
great.
like the distance from Ankole
Yeah.
to
I
Mengo.
traveled to Kasese my first time. That's when I realized like
The distance
instead the
is
Westerners.
You do,
you really
it
don't
doesn't
know what
make
you're
sense.
talking
Doesn't
about.
mean
It doesn't
anything.
make
True,
sense.
true, true.
Because now guys are like kilometers, very many kilometers away from each other. But people in the central, in the Intercaspian region, but it's also the Intercaspian region, isn't it?
It is.
Huh?
It is. There is no difference.
People here, there's the entire drama going on in the
So-
country and all that.
Just that we are in this colonial project, which I am not opposed
Colonial
to,
project.
by the
you
way,
mean,
necessarily.
you mean
very
the
opposed to-
divisions which were created by
The protectorate.
colonialists.
The protectorate. By the way, do you see how they used to really not take us seriously? Imagine a guy shows up to your leader and he's like, I want to protect you guys. I'm very powerful. Sign an agreement where we declare you a protectorate. So formally, they claim that, oh, we don't even rule you guys.
We are just protecting.
We are protecting you.
Because that's
I
Uganda
feel like
is a
that's-
British protectorate.
Yes, not a colony.
Was. Saying
Was.
things like was.
Sorry. Oh, I'm still under colony.
So it's very funny, eh?
Definitely.
So after making you sign,
That's a very.
after making you sign this
That
agreement,
poses a question. Are we still colonized?
Me, I believe we are.
What do you think?
Because I've realized it was all planned, right? Initially. And I feel like neocolonialism just turned out to be the next stage. So they didn't actually leave. They moved to the next stage.
So there's an Illuminati group of people who are
and by the way, it is very suspicious.
the Illuminati.
Not necessarily an Illuminati, but
But I think the Illuminati
a shadow
exists,
world
not the
government.
devil worshippers.
But it's very suspicious.
But
You had all these territories. Maybe a couple of them are rebelling. You're coming from a great war where you lost a lot of resources and you need more resources. And suddenly you're giving everyone their independence for those, the ones you're protecting, the
Who
protectorates,
was from a group?
colonies.
The British. Were from
No.
a big war.
like
Yeah, the World
slightly
War
after World War II, that's when they started.
Oh, that's when they started.
Because it
Yeah.
got expensive to actually physically be here.
That's why they.
So that's why I'm saying
new.
neocolonialism was the next stage.
So personally, I think it's really suspicious because Why would you let us go? You would expect that they would decide,
Extort us.
let's hold on to all these holdings. Like you saw Rhodesia, which is named after a guy who was called Cecil Rhodes, some random. Imagine,
Rhodesia.
yeah, imagine I went and colonized some guys and then they
Is it
named the
Zimbabwe?
country Algeria or something.
Or Ian. Or Kakoza. Okay, not Ian is already colonial.
Kakozia.
Kakosian.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
Wow.
so those.
So after the World War, these guys realized they can't afford to keep these protectorates or colonies
In a physical sense.
in a physical sense. So they decided to go on to Plan B.
Yeah. And the plan B was neocolonialism, where you just influence indirectly.
Whatever is happening there.
Yeah, without necessarily being physically.
What's the catch?
The
Because back
catch?
then they used to get free labor, slaves.
And one thing, because now, influence is stronger than, what should I call it? Let me say,
Direct force.
yeah, direct force. Because direct force has resistance
Forces and resistance.
and direct,
barriers.
yeah, but
Newton's
influence actually
Newton
feels,
is the laws of
Newton's third law.
but
it even works.
yeah, but influence is more voluntary. The person actually submits to you, even when it feels like that or something. If you went all aggressively and just told them, you know what, I want you and you're mine.
You're mine forever. That's
Obviously, they're
some
going to
scary
resist.
stuff.
Exactly, but
So you have to influence,
lines, exactly,
afflict your verse, take you out.
exactly. Eventually, they'll submit to you
For long.
subconsciously. Thank you.
The true colonizer.
No, but a true colonizer. I'm just so that's it.
Yeah, but anyway.
I thought it was legend.
Oh, did you even tell how we?
No, that's it. Okay, I'll delete this out.
My voice is not loud, really.
It's not spiking good then. Okay.
Okay.
It's alright. Where are we?
1 second, they'll just see the mic teleport.
They will just
Wonder what's up.
Yeah.
Why did that mic teleport? We'll just get closer to him since the two of us,
For us,
used
we
to
can-
shouting.
we are audible. Yeah, we are used to
Oh.
shouting and all that stuff. So the neocolonialism. Currently, I had a debate with one of the friends. She was like, the media, the media and all the rap songs, hip hop songs. When you talk about influence, the messages the message they send out, guns, drugs, what, I'm too bad, I'm too what.
True.
It's all to maintain the African Americans and maybe Africans globally in a state of being poor, violent, and drug addicts. And me, I was objecting, I was opposing.
You are opposing. There
To
is
me, in a capitalist way. In a capitalist way, I would think, yeah. It sells, such music sells more. People want to feel cool and, too bad. And
so you're telling me
So you're saying it's a
Beethoven
market
doesn't
strategy.
feel cool to you, or
Beethoven feels cool. Huh?
conscious rap,
Or hard
guys who rap about actual
Eh,
problems don't feel good to you. Anyway,
they feel
there
good.
is a conspiracy theory
A conspiracy theory.
by an organization. They claim there's an organization
The Illuminati.
which everyone knows. No, I'm not going to even mention them. Everyone knows this organization. 3-letter. Do we call them acronyms? Yeah, 3-letter abbreviation. Those letters are A, I, and C. I will not spell them out, but
I see.
Yeah.
anyway,
No, the thing is, I feel like
people claim
you have been so sucked up in the colonialist side,
We
almost like you're protecting them. You're supposed to attack them. So CIA, continue.
So anyway, no, me,
I like this guy.
I'm worried. Anyway, that organization, which I shall
That's
not
CIA.
name, they claim, conspiracy theorists on the internet claim that
You're one of the conspiracy
when
theorists
this
on the
music
internet.
is being peddled and this culture is being peddled to Black Americans who have a huge cultural influence on other Black people over here.
True.
They are funded and they have like a media machine which specifically filters out all the good conscious stuff and promotes just that stuff
Promotes the violence.
because it's in the strategic interests of the country. Yeah, that organization doesn't care about other countries. It's an organization for one country. And in that country's strategic interest, having a whole. Okay,
But yeah,
I'm getting too much into conspiracy theories.
basically,
People are going to say I'm blaming
no, you're not blaming, but
foreigners
okay,
for.
we can
Yeah.
give it. We can give it. You can say something.
I feel like that only works because we're letting it work. In the essence that
Yeah, I agree with this. guy.
because the CIA thinks Black Americans are our highlight. They influence us, right? As
Yeah.
Africans. But in actual sense, it's because we belittle ourselves that we follow their influence. So in actual sense, their strategy only works if we think blacks are our prime. Black Americans are our prime. But if we feel like they're just, if we looked at them for what they are, and to me, they're just victims of slavery that ended up somewhere else and tried to,
Thank you.
uplift themselves, we're actually better off than them. So it wouldn't work if we saw them that way. It
Thank
only
you.
works because
We
we
are actually better.
think so much of them.
Yeah,
This is the sort of thing that starts online wars.
Yeah, this is how I agree.
Mm.
This is how I agree. This with Katsavi, not this guy.
Yeah.
So I agree with Katsavi.
Yeah.
Okay, okay, basing on the global analysis I made, some simple analysis I made, I realized that human beings have a way of focusing on what really doesn't matter in the world. Yeah? Things concerning pleasure and dopamine. Eh?
True.
That's what they give. That's what they look at mostly. That's why nudes, when nudes go viral,
Everyone is hooked. on it.
everyone will see, but how many people will see this podcast about colonialism and what? There will be very few. I visited. I was checking. I cross-checked the number of people who follow Cristiano Ronaldo on Twitter, and they were like around 200 million.
He actually has the most following on
Yeah,
most
and I
platforms.
checked those who follow the Nobel Prize or some other people. Okay, leave Elon Musk is chaotic, he's everywhere. You can't avoid following him or knowing what's going on. He's the richest man in the world. But when talk about other scientists or other art people, politicians, economists, artists, who really do things
Influencers.
that matter, they have like 20k views, 20k
Followers.
or 100k followers. So my point is, I'm not criticizing following Cristiano Ronaldo, but I want to find 200 million people following Ronaldo and 200 million people following some serious. Right? So we can't blame only the IAA, like the way it's called in what
ICA.
the ICA or the IAA. That's how they call it in GTA.
Mm.
In GTA, they call it that.
The IAA and FIB.
But
So sorry. Yeah. So I think these people realized, the few people that click, that group of people realized that, oh, these people can be easily influenced. You just do this. So it's like the only smart people turned out to be evil. Maybe realize that you can easily influence. So it's a problem of very many factors involved. I can't only blame it one body.
Speaking of influence,
Yes.
I want to touch on a very sensitive topic, which I'll not mention any country names.
me, I will.
But you remember a conversation we had about a certain country that had unrest and how most of the content about the unrest is either recycled from somewhere else. Not to say that
You're talking
maybe
about our country.
not ours.
Mm.
Yeah. Not to say that the unrest is
Which country are you talking
not
about?
happening.
No. I'm
Some
confused.
people are denying.
Mm.
This is how many countries do you know that have had recent unrest? I'm
Unrest.
going to.
There's Sudan.
No. The country is a combination of Azania and is it Tanzania? What was its former name? Tanganyika and Zanzibar.
Just say Tanzania.
Also Tanzania. This is
Anyway.
The analysts,
Hmm.
people on the internet like Anthony Natif, we can say that because he's doing it publicly.
Oh,
Yeah. He's doing it publicly. It's not like it's your own words.
So,
Mm-hmm.
not to zero in on that specific country, but a lot of revolutions we have here these days often have like a social media component. And I feel like we are still very vulnerable to outside interests hijacking our means of communication and pushing any agenda they want. They can make it seem like they are a majority. They can, and these days AI video is so realistic.
True.
It's very hard to tell what's real, what's not real. So you could be online and consume a bunch of lies.
That's
or
back to what I was talking about. If people were conscious and minded
colonialism
what AI
is
videos
more dangerous.
they wouldn't be easily fooled by AI videos.
To go back to what you said
Yeah.
about influence,
Yeah.
I think you're talking about matrices in a conspiracy sense.
The Matrix. The Matrix.
Yeah, when you highlighted how many followers were following Chris Brown, I mean, Cristiano Ronaldo, I think you are actually highlighting how much of influence football actually has onto us. And that was staged. I don't know if you guys have heard of that saying where the Romans made the stadium to distract us from.
This was people back
the
then, the
gladiators.
theaters, the Colosseum.
Exactly.
They actually invested a lot
Exactly.
to lure people into such
So I feel like
gladiator fights.
those are literally matrices we're still succumbing to up to now. The fact that I could actually watch news and find out that Western Uganda got recently attacked by rebels, but instead resort to watching a Liverpool football match. You get what I'm saying?
Crazy.
It's very crazy.
It's really
I
crazy.
bet most of our audience doesn't even know about that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But someone knows yesterday's Liverpool match, Arsenal match, and
they were rebels.
yeah,
They were, but
It's everywhere. They were rebels.
no.
Maybe you think of someone else who did the attack. Do you know the person?
There is a very good reason why I steer clear of all domestic conversation.
No.
You're scared of being investigated.
No, I'm not.
Oh,
I know. You're not blaming anyone. We are blaming the rebels, which the government will be so proud of us to say rebels are
True.
not good. Are they?
and in any case, we're being
protecting.
and in any case we're being informative
Yeah,
to someone who was stuck to a Liverpool match or national match yesterday.
rebels,
yeah.
bombs and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway,
It's
it's
cautious.
true.
Let's
It's
be
true.
cautious.
Football is crazy that it's, but football is also widespread in the West, in Europe especially. So I wouldn't say football is an African specific problem, to the extent that
It's a global.
gang-filled music is. Gang-filled music is the real black problem. Like, all music is about the most positive thing you'll ever hear about is maybe someone woke up in a new Bugatti.
Oh, he made it.
Something,
Mama, I made
it.
Ambition.
Most of the other popular rap music, all the other genres that are geared towards black people, most of them focus on most of them focus on say the R&B is focused on women and sex and what's the name?
Money.
What's the name of that
making
song?
A train.
Chris Brown song. Hip hop. You find people are focused on how they are gangsters and how they
How the other
how they're
isn't loyal.
how they're in love with the cuckoo.
If I can stress how much influential that those things are, it reaches a point where an African, in actually an African setting, let's say a Ugandan, reaches a point of affiliating themselves to a gang that they have never even heard of. Like, I'm from the west side
The thing being
or
in a
the
gang
east
is
side.
cool.
Exactly.
I was on TikTok sometime back and then I saw some random gangsters, from around it.
Yeah.
And with the accents and everything, our local Ugandan accent.
Yeah.
So you have your local Ugandan accent, then you're dressed up like a black American, and you're flashing gang signs.
Yeah, exactly this shit. And I'm like, bro,
you're doing, and you're creep walking, and it's so disjointed from the accent you have. It's insane.
You know what I'm wondering about? Who is to blame? Like, because finding gangs cool, I don't know. Okay, I enjoy rap music, hip hop music. My role model, is Eminem. Back then, like I used to like Eminem and all that stuff.
Not Kanye.
But Kanye, oh yeah, of course, I like Kanye and stuff. But I don't think like I listened to a hip hop song and I felt like killing someone or what. Like I don't know. It all goes back to the person and how they perceive things. Because let me an example of Mutungo. Mutungo was full of gangs. I grew up from Mutungo. So, one day they
Mtongo Bina.
Mutungo Bina, yeah.
Okay.
One day they surrounded me and beat me up, and I had to run and all that. It was full of gangs called the Gari. So I grew up in a society where there were gangs, and I never saw anything cool with it. Though I loved rap music, and there were even gangs to join, I never joined a gang. And I loved rap music. My entire thing was rap
I
music.
felt like it.
So I think these guys know that the majority will be lowered. It's like I don't want to use an offensive word, but I found human beings. I want to
Less
say,
intellect.
it's so disappointing.
Yeah.
I think.
But we are human, we are not gods. It's to be expected.
So the neocolonialism, we have really.
We've diverged. But anyway,
We have not diverged.
we're talking about
the
colonization
And influence.
of culture.
of culture.
But even similarly, there
You
is
can't talk about the
an
Tanzania thing. I don't know why
No.
you're skipping it.
No, I'm skipping.
Me, I'll bring it back.
There
Let me
is,
talk about it.
there is an
Let me talk
extractive.
about the Tanzania thing.
And I'm going to supplement on it as well.
Okay, go ahead.
So, like you said, the Tanzanian revolutions, right, were on a sort of like a basis on a domestic. You said they were being influenced
No,
by
no, no. Like the country was under a complete internet shutdown until like yesterday. So essentially, we had no news
coming from
nothing.
there.
Twitter itself, even before the shutdown, for example, was banned. But most of the foreign accounts like Kenyan Gen Z involved protest accounts, Ugandan accounts, Sudanese accounts, Zimbabwean accounts, etc. with those flags in their bios, and also who have been involved in comments on different other
Platforms.
yeah, even before in let's say the Kenyan Gen Z revolution and etc. different protests. So the same accounts were the ones delivering all the news, delivering figures, say this number of people have been shot, etc. And it's unverifiable information. So we live in an information dark age. Information can be fabricated easily. There is no, everyone is a journalist, and some of them may be pretenders. So at some point, it was impossible to know what's going on in that country. So up to now, we really do not know how bad it was, because some people said, "Oh, this is the worst thing that has ever happened. This is worse than any revolution or attempted revolution in the region." But how do we know the truth? And from a colonial perspective, it's very easy for foreigners to influence our politics. That was my major point. But I didn't want to bring up their country because it's a fresh event, and of course there are always people who are affected.
Yeah.
Our
Some
Tanzanian
that might
audience.
actually feel.
Yeah, our Tanzanian audience.
True.
But it's important we have like that kind of critical thought about our information sources.
Now, I agree with you in that sense, but I equally feel like that's now more of a modernist and dictatorial issue than it is about colonialism. But truth be told, I don't think if we are kept appreciating the the Africanicity in a political sense, we would end up there. Because we didn't have dictators in an African setting, in my opinion.
Did we not have?
We had, but we appreciated it enough for it not to be valid.
But
To give you an example,
I believe we did have dictators.
Yeah.
Our cultural kingdoms, so much power was vested in many parts of this region. Much power was vested in one person, and in some regions, that one person had power of life
and death.
Like their word was law. Sometimes, say they ruled over a territory, every woman in that territory was considered their wife.
True.
So if there's a pretty woman anywhere and she's spotted, they'll carry her straight to the palace. You'll have 100 wives. In some regions, a different region, if this guy's had his spear wasn't supposed to touch the ground. So if he ever decided to reverse his spear, he needed somewhere to place it. So it has to go in a human form.
But you realize that was actually appreciated.
It was?
Appreciated as a culture. So that renders it less dictatorial than it.
I feel like in the modern era, we've kind of forgotten the initial nature. So I am not pro going back to, say, recurving the continent along pre-colonial lines, setting up the.
So in other words, you're saying we cannot reverse how far neocolonialism and colonialism is going.
If we want to survive, we need to embrace part of what makes those foreign societies impressive. So their accountability, separation of powers. Say the king is not the priest, is not the president, the priest, the religious power. He's not the judge. So it's good for power to be split. And also we need to embrace a lot of stuff, but there's stuff that they are selling that maybe we don't need to embrace.
Yeah. I agree with you.
Point.
But at the same time, I disagree with you. Because I feel like you're speaking as a product of colonialism.
A product of colonialism?
Yes.
I'm not a product of colonialism.
You are a product. You just sounded like... you just sounded like a product of colonialism. In a sense that... in none of your statements did you mention or appreciate our culture in a sense. You instead...
I demonized it.
Exactly.
Okay, there are positive aspects to our culture, definitely. Our craftsmanship, ingenuity, our societal structures like Ubuntu. We care more about our extended families. These people are nucleated. Yes, we do. Yes.
Yeah, we do.
These structures are nucleated. When you have like a relative who is sick and in the hospital, you sometimes contribute maybe and help them out. When you have a wedding,
that turn up his way.
Yeah, they'll turn up. Thousands of people will turn up. Funerals turn up. Children are raised. Sorry, why am I saying grown like they are plants? Anyway, children are raised by a community, grandparents, parents, uncles, aunties. But when you go to those former colonial powers or neo-colonial powers, most of their families are nucleated.
Yeah, that's true.
And you're isolated. So
that's true.
There are aspects of our culture that are good. Yes.
The isolation, which is
but
the isolation is actually too much.
You realize you have very little
in Sweden. He's Swedish, and he told me they have a lot of cases. He's a doctor. A lot of suicidal cases, self-poisoning, strangulation, and all that, and it's because of loneliness. Like, people are not
being
so
isolated.
social like us. That's why I think they get so surprised when they come to Africa. Everyone
joyous and whatnot.
Yeah, apart from some countries where you could be eaten.
What on earth do you?
You know that country where there are rebels who shoot guns while naked and.
What country is that?
Which country?
Look about the country. Was it Sierra Leone or something? The guy who's called the one, the cannibal.
Oh, no. That's not in Africa.
It's in Africa.
It's not.
What is it?
That's Haiti.
Haiti?
Yeah.
Haiti. Haiti is not Africa.
Now you see,
Haiti is...
he has given me sort of like the right stand to make my point. Now.
But there are some...
Haiti is...
Sierra Leone.
Let me make my point.
Okay.
The point I want to make is that we're so much of products of colonialism that it's almost impossible for us to argue with it. In a sense that all the knowledge we're exposed to
it's
colonial knowledge, right? And all the information, all the resources we have, all the research we have is in a colonial setting. So it's going to be hard to find someone who can actually challenge it.
But why didn't we write here in Uganda, man? We would have written our own history.
We had that history.
Guys failed to come up with letters. And then They started passing on information orally, then some guys started exaggerating. I'm sure Chibuko Mumbali was just a mere warrior. By the time, right now, Chibuko Mumbali is a
The
god
guy
on the
walked on the
cloud,
clouds.
flying around with arrows like that.
But I feel like miniaturized it so much that we lost track. If I'm giving an example, it's time. I was doing a previous project, I think last week, and we're exploring ways in which we can keep time, right? Europeans also had, there was a time where they had a sun timer where you just,
Hourglass.
an hourglass, sorry. But ours was following the sun, right?
Yeah, we're using sundials.
Yeah.
Exactly. And in a sense, it worked efficiently.
We could actually calculate
So
time.
had we had enough time, probably it would have evolved
into something.
into something. But next thing you know, we're being exposed to watches and they're like, nah, we're done with our
Why I'm
ways.
wondering, like,
And that has happened in every single setting: cooking, culinary, education. Every we just
junk food
But
so
I think
exactly.
we are making it seem like this is the colonialists' invention. They did not invent a lot of what we credit them for. For example,
either way.
the time
The
system.
thing you said is true. We are colonial. We are colonial products.
For example,
And we think colonialists did everything.
I'm going to give you the timekeeping
Arabic.
system. At the 60 minutes, that goes all the way back to Babylon. No one would consider Babylonians white right now.
That is Mesopotamia.
Mesopotamia, that's Iraq. You don't see Iraqis being praised as the white saviors.
Something
right
else
now.
though is going on.
They invented the 60 minutes, the hour.
But you think when they were, because you realize in most of the contacts between the whites and blacks, they were never distinctive of what was and what wasn't theirs. All they did was manipulate us in the sense of gifting, right?
But
I'm giving you a mirror in exchange for a cow, and I'm not going to say, oh, you know, this mirror was actually made by an Indian, what. You get? It's I have given you the mirror.
Represent it
I
as
am
theirs.
exactly.
Yes. But this thing of slavery and colonialism, what is it about black and white people, or human beings always find an excuse to feel superior over the others?
They
Because
always find an excuse.
Because I was watching this TV show, like Guinness, and Ireland was under the British colonial rule, and they really hated it. And you see, these guys look the same.
IRA terrorism.
Yeah,
But nowadays,
so
they consider themselves all white, and a lot of them consider themselves British. So when you go to an Irish white supremacist, he'll look at you and know you're inferior, and he feels he's closer to the whatever. But same thing for, there's a point in time where Italians in the USA were considered like not full
Like
citizens, like black people.
Yeah.
They were migrants.
Yeah.
Currently, Italians are considered white people. They joined the white class. Right now, they are claiming Mexicans, people of Hispanic origin, by the who are most of the time more than 90% European. They are considered a race. Can you imagine a Hispanic race? People with, say, 90% descent from Spain.
So meaning it all comes down to identity.
One of the largest European countries.
Turn tables. If we had the power as black people, and the technology, the knowledge, and all that stuff, could we have colonized? Oh, we are so pure. We can colonize.
We could have.
We would have.
We could have.
Or not. The Chinese.
It's a human.
The Chinese had the opportunity,
but they never colonized. Or they didn't know.
Because
there was something
before the Portuguese arrived here in the 1600s at the East African coast, the Chinese already had an expedition which came here, and they even captured animals like giraffes and basically African animals. Remember, the Chinese have been writing for thousands of years, like 2,000 plus years. So in their written history, they wrote about our animals, and animals were carried by sea all the way to the Chinese court and shown to the emperor. We even know the name of the Chinese explorer that came. They recorded his name, just I don't remember it. So they had seafaring technology. They had invented gunpowder. So they could have made guns. They had technological superiority over us.
But I chose not to.
They could have even made a steam
But
engine,
the Chinese don't show that.
but they decided not
They
to.
always care
colonize
for
us.
themselves. And
They are more
So-
of neocolonists.
They
than,
also-
colonialists.
They also have a different societal structure. Their society was not based off individualism. They believe in a certain form of collectivism. So
Assimilation, actually.
yeah. So when you have like your own individual achievement, it doesn't mean much. You care more about the society's achievement. So even in their current ideologies, they're communists right now. They make like 10-year or 20-year plans, which will benefit the society even after they've retired or they've passed on. So that collectivism has gone on with them. Whereas Western societies were more individualistic. You cared for the achievements of the individual. So Caesar was a great man, and everyone knows Caesar up to now. Alexander the Great was Alexander the Great.
No one else.
And him conquering those countries was written down in Western history as a
I
great achievement.
second you on that because when I read in Why Nations Fail, a certain book, they showed why there's no so much. America grew on a let me say on the foundation of less extractive institution, but more of inclusive. So what happened? What happened is that when these guys came and they fought the Red Indians and Columbus and his crew. So when they came and should I call it colonizing or they found America?
They found.
Okay, when they found America and settled there, there's no one they failed first of all to enslave the Red Indians into working for them and free labor. So the Red Indians would always rebel or distance themselves.
They moved west.
Yeah, they moved west. So the entire community was on a foundation of working for themselves. So they realized we can't we can't wait for someone to work for us. People had to go and farm. People had to go and invent things and build churches, and everyone in the society was about taking care of the society. So with time, America grew on a very, let me say, good, inclusive
Harmonious
foundation,
foundation, yeah.
than, let me say, the conquistadors when they took over Brazil, without the Spanish.
They were Spanish.
Yeah, they were so successful than America then, but they collapsed because their mind was into.
It was extractive.
Yeah, it was
They
into
showed up.
extractive,
They were looking for gold, and there were stories of El Dorado, the golden city.
Yeah.
So these guys, remember, gold wasn't so valuable to them necessarily. So the little gold they had, they would wear it openly as jewelry. Find someone wearing a bunch of gold. So these guys thought, oh, there's a lot of gold. And when they arrived in South America, and then they tried to converse, they're trying to describe gold. They're like, do you have yellow stuff? It comes from the earth and it's shiny, it's yellow. These guys were like, oh, wow, we have so much of it. We want it. They're like, oh, we have so much, we can share. So these guys thought that there is a whole city there called El Dorado, made entirely of gold. Yet these guys, what they actually meant was they have maize. They have huge fields of maize. Maize was first domesticated in Southern America, and they had extensive fields of it.
It was first domesticated in Natufian. It was Natufian civilization, but mostly known in the Aztecs.
Yes.
Yeah, that's what they
So
thought.
when they heard about maize, and maize, the original breeds that came from there, the Europeans are the ones who brought it here and all around the world when they found it there. So these guys were describing maize, and these guys thought it was gold.
So when they came,
and then they came and they raided,
colonized, and they promoted what is called an aristocracy system. I think.
So now
we are the few people gained from the many. So when even the Southern America gained her independence, it was used to that set of. That's what is happening to African countries, by the way. Like Sierra Leone. Okay, I mentioned a lot about Sierra Leone because I don't know, but
you have special interest.
They have a very interesting history.
Even their president. I told you about how there are people in Sierra Leone who smoke bones.
Bones.
Yeah, like they get human bones,
and
Yeah,
smoke them.
they
cemeteries.
smoke bones.
They crush them into powder
Mm.
and they smoke them. Apparently,
So
it
is
gives
that
them a
their
high.
idea or a foreign idea?
It's their idea.
this
Oh, okay.
guy with colonialism. Okay, what I'm trying to say, the neocolonialism. This is the neocolonialism. Indirectly, this was indirect, or maybe, as you said, they had a plan. They knew it would happen, because all the countries that gained their independence or they got their independence, the governments that took over also acted like colonialists on their fellow Africans. It's like they were trained
They
during
were
that.
trained.
Yeah.
For example, here we had an indirect rule system. So there was no white man enforcing the white man's laws. It's not like a white man would come and chase you for graduated
But
stuff.
we knew who was in power. No.
You knew, but he did not enforce it himself. He did not have an office where you go and find him. And
That makes it worse. He was training other people to enforce their power.
so these very people, say the people he left, say he elevated some people as chiefs. He's like, oh, this is the paramount chief of this place. This is etc. Some of them were like previous aristocracy of our local kingdoms. You know, Kakungulu, etc. Others were just commoners who were devout. These are the people who became wealthy. They are the people who led the country at independence. And they had this mindset about them as well. So they used British systems, which were not like British, not like the system at home in Britain. The British colony system, the indirect rule.
He said he was going to talk about that.
Divide and rule.
We are forgetting.
We
that.
did.
We now talk about that.
We talked
We
about
did.
Tanzania. Yeah.
We did. You went out.
Now, actually, the point you guys have been
Wow.
exchanging,
Tanzania.
I wanted to get involved in the sense that you guys were stressing how different means in which we were colonized were efficient or not. And the most efficient one was what we're actually experiencing right now, and that's neocolonialism.
It's the most efficient.
It's the most efficient. If I'm to give you an example, the French, right, had an assimilation means in their colonization in the sense that they would not make it seem like we hate your culture, so you need to go away with that. They would make you feel part of them. They would befriend you. So you'd be a friend.
No, I thought you really knew. Like the black people who used to work for the enslavers and they used to enslave their own. They used to feel white.
Oh, more of like
And by the way,
the
the
uncle-
current
uncle Ruckus.
neocolonial,
What's up? Yes?
yeah, the current neocolonial, like apparatus that exists. By the way, there are a bunch of countries in Western Africa which use a currency issued by France called the CFA franc. Can you imagine? France issues their currency, controls everything, gives directives to their central banks.
So they are still under.
They're under the French, yes,
Exactly.
essentially.
Okay.
And in a way, it's brought onto as if it's funding, right? So you voluntarily accept it in a sense that you feel helped. If I'm giving an example, it's like the national languages, right? They make it seem that they make it easy for us to communicate, like we are right
So
now.
you want to share?
Huh?
You want to
Like
share
we are right
English?
now.
How
Huh?
will we understand each other? We all three.
Maybe
speak
we could
10
afford a
different
way.
languages.
Maybe we could afford a way.
The multi-tribe society is also a problem because every society will feel like they
We need
they
a
want
common
their
language.
own language to be the official language.
English-
The Baganda will be fighting for
English is as good as any, I think.
So,
By the way,
can I ask?
what would happen if the English people didn't come? What was going to be the national?
That's the question I was going to ask.
I'm sure there was a society which was going to colonize the others. And
I feel like in Uganda it would have probably
you've seen
been. In Uganda, it would have probably been Baganda. Because if you read some of their history, they were really ambitious.
And the
In a
state was
colonial
expanding.
ambition
I was
was-
talking about the largest,
sense that
the
if
largest freestanding structure. Yeah, hut. They built a hut that is essentially stories. How you've seen it. The main huts at Kasui, they are thatched structures built with thatch, but they are massive. So those were the origins of an architectural tradition. You see how you look at for example,
Colosseums and
yeah, like those Roman
pyramids
Colosseums,
and-
which the Americans copied and incorporated into their White House to show that, oh, we are an empire. Let's associate ourselves with Rome. Similarly, you guys were developing an architectural tradition. You had the line of succession, which was already like 30 generations.
So
And you actually also had colonial ambitions.
You had colonial ambitions. You
I
had
remember
taken over
we were
counties.
in the battle, the Baganda were in battle with the Bunyoro. It was
Exactly.
I believe at some point they would have, of course, one of the kingdoms would have expanded, and a lot of the reason why people think we were primitive, they don't realize that we are recent settlers in a lot of these regions.
Yeah, by the way.
These guys, by the say 0 AD, during the time of Jesus, the Roman Empire existed. So there was a tradition of empire being settled in a specific place, going back even like a thousand years before that. Roaming, the last roaming tribes, you can think of the roaming tribes the Romans used to do battle with, the Visigoths, etc. But here in Africa, we had just come from Cameroon Highlands, started farming, settled, formed centralized states.
We are colonialists. We came and colonized. We found Bushmen here. It's in the history.
Yeah.
We displaced some Bushmen. I don't know what happened.
So we settled, formed kingdoms. We were still in flux. But if we got like 5 more centuries, at least in this part of Africa, we would have ended up with a serious kingdom. In other parts of Africa, those kingdoms were formed. Say, you've been to Ethiopia.
So,
yeah.
So
you've been to Congo.
So,
the titular Congo kingdom had formal diplomatic relations with European powers before colonialism, like Portugal, Spain, etc. Though they adopted Christianity and they set up a Church of Congo with its own unique characteristics. Congo with a K.
So, it's not, so the way we define it is not a white problem. White people.
No.
It's a human problem.
It's a superiority problem.
It's a human problem.
Yeah. It's part of humanity.
Is it? Or we can...
In a sense
we
that...
We can move on from that part.
It can actually even go down up to individual. In individuality sense. In a sense that you belong to a class, right? But you want to be on top. You want to feel superior. So
number one,
your efforts and your
highest CGP
and your ambitions to do that, to attain that, provided someone is being persecuted on the other side or belittled, that's a form of colonialism. Yeah. So in a sense, we can only complain because we're the victims.
That's what I always
had we not been, this would actually be a celebratory talk.
But also the other people need to change, man. They should stop, man. That's the thing of colonial fueling revolutions and wars and chaos in
countries. Let me be a devil's advocate. I'll speak as a white man.
If I knew you're a product of colonialism.
If I was a white man and I'm here, I would say, you guys are basically playing the blame game. We came here, we brought you technology, innovations,
and killed
every year. We fund your budgets. You're always in deficit. You can't balance your budgets. Give you billions of dollars in aid.
And we eat.
And half of your budget is funded by us. We build your roads, your markets, your hospitals. We give you free medication. etc.
We are in Unipod right now.
No, let me. Now I'm going to speak as the African.
And you have the right.
Actually, Unipod gave us this, but our fellow Africans wouldn't care.
Oh, true.
They wouldn't care, and they would fly to Dubai and cruise.
In a sense, neocolonialism is a problem on a very macro scale. For example,
ouch.
When they force us through policy, like if you don't sell your national assets, like your airline, your railways,
like some countries,
your commercial bank, like some countries in Africa, which I want to mention.
Okay.
If you don't privatize your national assets, the current world we're in is a globalist world, and government cannot manage such assets. Therefore, sell them or we won't give you aid. Who comes to buy them? Standard Chartered from abroad. Different foreign companies will come and dominate your sector. You'll find like MTN and Airtel.
Instead of Uganda Telecom.
So
that's what I was telling
that
you.
Is
like it's a collection of factors.
It's a problem. But on a very small scale, I believe that we ourselves also
to
we
blame.
owe it to ourselves.
Yeah.
We are partly to blame. So
We are partly to
that's
blame.
why I was being a
You know,
devil's
we had what were they called?
Why
Collaborators as early as 119 what or Semeka Congo.
why are we
We
leaving
have
out
roads named after
why are we leaving out the fact that they steal our resources, they fuel revolutions, they stage coups?
Yeah, they stage coups by influencing you, isn't it? Because they come give you guns, give certain rebels.
Because their main motive
Congo has over 40 plus militias. Like it has over 40 plus rebel
But
groups.
and why
I
Can you
did
realize
imagine a
that
country
certain countries in East Africa are also
by
doing
the
this
way?
colonialism.
Certain countries are also
In
influencing
Congo.
the wars in Congo. Certain countries
because it all comes down
Which
to
will not be named.
which will not talk about.
Rwanda.
No, no, no. No. No.
Okay.
No. In this
Okay.
case,
I get.
There is
but
no way I'm letting that out.
I do not want to die. But here's the thing. It all comes. You'll edit that out. Here's the thing. I believe, right? It all comes down to extortion, and I resent the fact that you're leaving that out of your devil's
Ideology.
statement, right? Like in a sense that the reason why you are so much involved in our business, now I'm speaking like an African,
Yeah.
right?
Sure, white guy.
Is that you need us. You get
Do I
actually
need you?
you don't
Hey.
need okay. Then,
That's
no,
your
let me
man.
correct myself.
They used to need
You don't need me, but you need what I have, right?
For
If
Some
we
of the stuff you have.
most of the stuff I need. If I'm to give you an example,
Maybe
Tesla can't survive without uranium. Where is uranium? Where is lithium? You understand?
Is it in Congo? No.
It's in
I'm
Congo.
not sure.
There's a lot of
It's in
uranium
Congo.
in Congo, titanium,
All the resources,
coltan.
Actually,
cobalt.
actually.
But
You understand?
I want to
Sorry.
come back.
And that's why that's why the revolutions, the coups,
There are so many.
they're
Let me
very
come back.
strategic.
But man, I don't know.
Let me come
What
back
was
as the devil's
buying-
advocate.
Buying. They just want to make
Because it costs them.
I am
Yeah.
the devil's advocate. I'm going to tell you what's wrong.
Yeah.
First of all, you guys claim that all the lithium is in Congo. Some of the largest lithium reserves in the world are in Canada, the USA, Australia. And a bunch of other, maybe there are a few things that are so rare that we would need, like coltan from here, some elements we would need. And we get them cheaply from here because it's a capitalist world, and where we find the lowest price is where we go. But
And
we
when you
could-
can extort, you
yeah,
extort.
but we could get them from elsewhere. For example, of recent, someone was claiming that you've had Trump mention Nigerian persecution.
Yeah, the Muslim
Christians,
stuff.
you see, people are claiming, oh, he wants oil. America is the world's biggest oil producer. So people claiming,
It's only the world's biggest producer because it has the largest reserves.
yes, of course,
You get
it's
what
the
I'm saying?
largest consumer, but
So meaning
It's
that
the
oil
largest
is actually not from their grounds, it's from elsewhere.
Are you sure?
Yes.
I think they have a lot of oil.
they have a lot.
They have a lot
Some
of oil
and
in
gas.
reserves.
Animals which died from that continent and
They have oil reserves and
millions
they
of years and
essentially,
Yeah.
they invented Rockefeller. You remember that era? Those guys invented drilling on a commercial
But
scale.
also during that period, they were malicious, man. They used to find the Red Indians on the lands. They marry the Red Indians. They kill
Are we also going
the
to
Red Indian
Inherit
wives. So
the
that's
land.
to inherit the land with oil. There was a lot going
It
on.
was,
How-
and I'm going to say until maybe before 1970 something, 75 ish, when there was an oil crisis, America really needed to invade these countries for oil. But
say
currently
it out loudly?
they've been
Say it out loudly.
needed to because their production was very low. They had big reserves they were not producing, and they relied on production from countries like Saudi Arabia, Kuwait, etc. So when Saudi Arabia stopped
You have to be
selling oil products, stopped selling oil products in protest of war with another certain country that shall not be mentioned. Yeah?
We're really not mentioning.
We know that one doesn't have to be mentioned. So, due to that war that was happening between those countries in the Middle East, Saudi Arabia was like, we are shutting off our reserves, and it caused an economic crash in America. From that time, America has worked to make its own oil drilling activities sustainable, be able to
I'm glad.
feed their own production. But then they also buy surplus oil as well, but they produce enough They sell some. It depends on the location.
I'm glad you really brought up the oil thing because you've actually laid out how aggressive colonialism can be, right? In a sense that you realize your opportunity to extort, you utilize it,
Just oil were coming up here. That's
but you know what happened to those inventors?
Yeah, I know what happened.
And do you know why it happened?
Yeah, of course.
These are capitalists.
There's an oil capitalist who doesn't want his industry to crash.
Thank you.
Wait a
And who is
minute,
that
wait a minute.
next?
Okay, the electricity, I can maybe, but water, how would water run?
No, there were inventions,
Maybe hydrogen.
right? There were inventions that would be alternatives to oil. Some actually would minimize the usage of oil, but because they realized that would deprive the economy, right? They had to do away with them.
The capitalists, let's not, there's a capitalist view and a white man's view. Like, me, I think, let's say the capitalist, because anyone can be a capitalist. Do you know who's building refineries in Nigeria? Dangote. You see, white.
He's a product, but he's a product.
It's a product.
Yeah.
It's just a capitalist.
But
it's a product.
You do realize that even the socialists, you may say, oh, our African socialism is Ubuntu, and what was Nyerere's socialism called?
Isn't it Ubuntu?
Ujama. Things like that, yeah. But the prevalent forms of socialism in the world were conceptualized by whites, like Karl Marx. And they are the godfathers of non-capitalist ideologies as well. So
anyway,
so in that
this
sense,
conversation,
everything is white.
Thank
you. No.
Never ends. We have had.
I want to say something about that specifically. And that's great.
We should wind up.
Yeah. The point I'm trying to make is how hard it has gotten to fight colonialism, because we're trying to fight colonialism with colonialism. Because you brought up a controversial or contrary to capitalism being socialism, right? But that idea is still foreign. You get? So you can't bring it up as a solution because we're trying to fight a foreign idea with a foreign idea. So you're trying to fight something you're not familiar with something you're not familiar with. And that's why.
Are we in a paradox?
To sum it up, what you want us to do is, for example, let's shut off studio lights, everything. Let's go sit on, those round stools or those carved Karimojong stools.
Yeah.
Sit, have a conversation. How will our podcast reach the audience?
There's no way.
Give up on the English language.
No.
He speaks Uganda, you speak Rutoro, I speak Nyankole. We want to understand each other. We have to embrace the white man.
No. What they brought here, the schools they built, our university here, first of all, everything. Now it's up to us on how to conserve and be better than them.
We
have seen Africa. No. You see what's happening in Sudan. Really? Over religious. In fact, they have the same religion, aren't they? Same religion. Stuff is happening.
Just one is slightly more light skinned.
You get it? So, it is so sad what's happening. And is it being influenced by colonialists or what?
It is.
I watched a documentary. Okay, partly. I watched a documentary where there's some Sudani guy. The Sudani came from the UN, I think, flew him out for education. Like, he studied abroad and he came back. He started games that could unite the tribes. So the tribes were like fighting this week. Then they had to pause their fight for Thursday and Friday for games. It was wrestling to show that we are all one, that they were all one and stuff. So after the games, the people who won, these guys were shaking hands on Monday.
Oof.
They put guns aside. They participated in the guys' games. The Monday, and the Sudani guy was there touching his head. He was in disbelief and he gave up on his people and flew back to UK or wherever he came from. So these tribal wars which were happening in South Sudan, yes, there was some foreign influence, but you have to chill, man. Like, you have to stop.
Let's end on the chilling note. Okay. I think we've run.
Thank you for being with us. If you-
Watching till the end.
watching
I
till the
know only one person has watched till the end.
That's-
Thank you.
And it's probably part of the squad.
Okay,
Yeah.
it's my. We already say the name. Till next time. We'll sign out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
keep tuning in.
Peace.
Thanks for coming.
Hi, man.
That was good.
That's actually